Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to do a chi-square test of association or independence in StatCrunch, starting with a raw data set. And here I'm using a data set from a poll taken on the StatCrunch website in 2015 about people's Thanksgiving practices. One of the variables in the data set, the question they asked people was whether they pray before their Thanksgiving meal. And another was what is your typical main dish? So the options are things like turkey, tofurkey, and other things. We might want to ask if those two are associated with each other. So is there any relationship to whether you pray before you eat your Thanksgiving meal and what you choose to eat as the main dish? That would be a chi-squared test of association or independence. So to carry out this test, we go to stat, and we don't go to goodness of fit. We actually go to tables, and we pick contingency table with data. We're going to select our two variables that we're interested in looking at. One can be the row variable, one can be the column variable. It doesn't really matter which is which. So I'm going to make my row variable be whether you typically pray before your Thanksgiving meal. And then my column variable is going to be what is typically the main dish at your Thanksgiving dinner. The things that I want to show in the table, it's kind of nice if the expected counts for the chi-square test and the contributions to the chi-square statistic are in the table, so I can pick those. And then the default is to do the chi-square test for independence with these data. So then we have to just hit compute. And we get our table, which shows the counts in each category and also the contributions to the chi-squared test statistic, and the middle one is the expected values. So here we can see that there's a lot of cells in our table that have really small numbers of observations. And so StatCrunch is actually giving us a warning that there's a lot of cells with expected counts less than 5. And so a chi-square test is actually probably not an appropriate procedure to do with these data, but we at least know how to do it. And if it had been an appropriate test, we could go down to the p-value here and use that p-value to make a decision about whether the two variables are associated with